Welcome, everyone, to a lovely morning. It is Thursday. Yes, today, act now. That's what we're talking about today, acting right now. You see, a lot of us are waiting around for the change to happen. We're waiting for change to happen. When in actuality, it is you doing that creates the change. You do something that causes something to happen. So, this is why we can't just wait around because the law of vibration tells you that everything moves, nothing stands still. So, that means you aren't standing still either. It's either you're doing the old or you're doing the new. So, what are you going to do about that? What are you supposed to do? What if, for instance, you're looking at your life and you notice there's a particular pattern? Something keeps happening. It happens the same way every time. And you're looking at this and you're like, what? Why is this always happening to me? Why is this always happening to me? Because you keep doing the same thing. You haven't changed. So the situation cannot change. We spend so much time asking, when is it going to change? When in actuality, you have to create the change by doing the thing. Causation. Every cause has its effect. Every effect its cause. This is this is what it is. This is what it will come down to day in and day out. So if you find that you keep doing the same thing and getting the same result, now is not the time to judge. Now is the time to say, hey, I need to be doing something different. But that depends on what you're doing now, right? We pull the cards because we want to see the future. But it is you who's doing something now that creates the future. So it doesn't matter how many cards you pull. What are you doing? The card shows you the potential. You doing something takes it from potential to kinetic. Kinetic means movement. Potential is just has the possibility of becoming. There are many potentials, but that potential can come to be when you do something, when you act on it. Act now. This is how somebody gets you to buy something. The deadline is coming up in 3 days. Act now. Do it now. That's what they want you to do. They want you to do something. You have to have that same, I don't even want to call it a sense of urgency. You have to have that same desire for you. As I keep telling you every day, it's not that there's something wrong with you. We have to stop looking at it like, oh my God, I have so many problems. You do not have a problem. You have a habit. Those are separate things. When you look at a habit, you know that a habit is something you have done the same way every time. So, how do you create a new habit? By doing a new thing the same way every time. Easy, is it not? But when you see problem, you're like, oh my God, I don't know where to begin. It can be overwhelming to think, "Ugh, I have a problem." But when you change the perspective to say, oh, look, there's that pesky habit bothering me again. Hmm? Yeah, you're correct, Zola. You can't change the thing with using the same mind. Einstein, you're correct. And that's the thing. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed by the situation. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed by the situation. But if you take the time to look at it instead of reacting to it, you will know what to do. I promise you, you'll know what to do. Remember the analogy of the small child in the puddle, jumping up and down in that muddy water? Can't see your face. But if you stop moving for a moment all the stuff will settle to the bottom and you will know what to do. Because you do what? You can see clearly. That's why you act now. What? Yes, you act now. Seems contradictory, but it isn't. You've been sitting on this thing for a while. Well, I don't know if it's the right choice. See, because we're so worried about, am I going to be successful? Because you have forgotten what success means. It's the realization of a worthy goal. Meaning, you said, I'm going to write 3 chapters every day, and you write 4. You were successful. But you keep looking at, I didn't finish the book. And you feel sad and you stop. You set your parameters. You say, okay, this is my intention. This is what I'm doing. I'm writing those 3 chapters. You sit down and you write them. And after you finish them, have you not been successful? Indeed, you have. When you recognize that you've done the thing you said you wanted to do, it will pull you forward to continue. Because now you're not relying upon your feelings. You're not relying upon your feelings. Oh, well, I'm such a failure. I can't, I keep trying and I just always feel so stuck. Maybe that's not you. That's a good thing if that's not you. It's not a bad thing if it is. It just means you're looking in the wrong direction. You're allowing your feelings to dictate whether or not you stand still. When in actuality, it has already been determined that you cannot stand still. You must always be doing something right now. Oh, but Angela, that means I can't rest. I don't even know how to take a holiday. No, that's not what it means. The law of vibration says that nothing stands still. Everything moves. There's always going to be an ebb, and there's always going to be a flow. In the ebb does not mean you are idle. In the ebb means you are planning and you are setting things up. Albeit you're moving a little slower because it's the ebb. But now, when it is time to go into the flow, you have to have the thing to do. But if you don't set up the thing to do, meaning polarizing yourself in a particular direction, if you say, I'm going to be doing this today, if you don't plan that in the ebb, how will you know what to do when the flow comes? So you're always acting now. This is the point. I love that. Cyber. So depression is just a long ebb. It is an unnatural, prolonged ebb. Yes, we have the ability, when you use the law, we have the ability to lean on something for an extended amount of time. Hmm. Yes, you can remain polarized in a particular direction for a long time. If you so choose, you're leaning there. But if that is not a good thing, if that's not a good place for you to be, yeah, then you will prolong your depression by, "Ugh, I can't." You will prolong the depression by continuing to do the thing you've always done instead of doing the new thing, instead of acting now to bring about your change. It's not that. This is why I told you guys last time. If you find that this thing is just looking real like, go and get some blood work done. Why? Because something in the body might be out of balance. hmm If you find that it's unnatural for you to say, wait a minute, why am I still laying here? And you physically have trouble, well, then you might be low in something. Testosterone, Estrogen, progesterone, what? So now that you know, after you've had some blood work done, now you know what the problem is on the inside. And then you act accordingly. There are things that can be done because we're in this body. And that's why you have to listen to it. That's why you have to know yourself. So that when something seems unnatural for you, you catch it right away. Oh, believe me, one of us is real stubborn. Don't worry. I know a thing or two about prolonging a state. Yes. Because some of us, I'm scared. What if I get bad news? You cannot live your life in fear. If you know a thing, you can change a thing. This is why polarity will always ask you, where are you now and what are you doing? Where do you want to be and what do you want to be doing? Right? Every single time. So instead of looking for the change to come upon you, bring about the change. Hmm? Bring about the change in your life. You can't sit there and wait for something to move you. But that thing may never come. Then what? You won't move? No. You determine what it is you want to do. And when you do that, an idea will come upon you for sure because you have moved yourself in the direction of it's like if you're walking into the rain clouds, you're going to get wet. Right? So if you're walking in the direction of the change you're creating, you are bound to see things that confirm, because it's the law of correspondence, as within, so without. You say you're changing, you go in that direction, you'll see the evidence of your change. But if it keeps happening the same way every time, you're still in the same place doing the same thing. Hmm? Let's take a moment to welcome everyone into the space this morning. Hello, Jeff. Oh, look at that. It's Tiffany and Javion are here. Indy, Meep, I see you here in Twitter. Fanbase, who's here? Oh, Yolanda, I see you, baby. KZ Flow Smiles, Miss McQueen, Matthias, Zola. I see you here on Fanbase. Facebook, well, Indy's here. She's not on Facebook this morning. YouTube, who's here? Double A, hello. Cyber, Eapple, Queen Murat, hey. Hello, Ruby. Ruth, hello. I see you. The Better Man, Tracy, hey, stranger. Sonia and David, I see you. A Not, I haven't seen A Not yet. Muck 45, hey, look at you. I haven't seen you in forever, stranger. And then for those who have not made themselves known in the chat, I also see you. And the replay gang, I know you. Sherelle, hey. Let's see. Iapo says, if doing nothing for a specific moment and or reason is part of a plan, then even doing nothing is doing something. Again, if doing nothing is a necessary component of a plan. But of course, you still had to determine that. You still had to plan that part out. That's the action itself. Ebb and flow, right? So even if you say, okay, if I do nothing here, when the flow comes, you still know what you're going to do there based upon what you've decided to do. Always, you still had to make the determination in the ebb to get to the flow part. Correct. Cyber says that last bathroom mirror teaching you did brought me out of a depression. Keep doing the new. That's his favorite one. Keep doing the new. Well, remember Neville Goddard when he says, the old man? He had the analogy of shoes. Nobody knows you're wearing new shoes but you. So you have to keep wearing those new shoes until they become like old shoes. You break them in. It's the same thing here when you're doing a new habit. When you're bringing about that change in your life that you say you want to experience. For instance, if you think that people keep treating you bad, what is it about you? They can't treat you bad unless somewhere inside of you, you make an accommodation for that. It's not a judgment. It's an opportunity for you to reflect upon yourself and determine, hey, there's something missing here. Why am I allowing this to happen to me? So, what do you need to change about you so that people will stop treating you badly? You see, if you dig into the manifestation community a lot, they will always ask you this question: how can I change the other person? How can I make them do something? That is not your job. Your job is to observe yourself and adjust you. Because when you adjust yourself, things on the outside will adjust to match. But we think we are controlling someone else. No, you have to change you to accommodate your situation that you want to change. That's it begins and ends with you, the self. Does that make sense? Yes, everything is a bridge. Always that ebb and flow. So today, determine what it is you want to do, what you want to become. That's on you, right? Who do you want to be? As the scripture would say, who do you say that I am? Well, who do you say that you are? Well, then do those things. Do them. But I'm scared. It's okay to be afraid. It is okay because that's human. But if you go by way of law, what does the law say? The law says if you know the cause, you can predict the outcome. Well, how so? You said, this is who I am now. This is my new behavior. That new behavior will bring about what? Oh, more self respect. So that means more respect from the outside to show you. So if you already know what you said you were going to be and you know the outcome, now do you see you don't need to be scared? The outcome is not unknown. It's not unknown. You know exactly what it is. So then that eliminates fear and worry and fretting because you're not, even though they are natural to the human body, the law, as you will notice, will lift you above them. It will give you confidence. So you say, hey, I know how this is going to turn out. Well, how would you know how it's going to turn out? Because I have already determined how it will turn out. What keeps us stuck sometimes? We don't know how the other person's going to act. That's not your job. How are you going to behave? Then that's what you go with. Because remember, the law is only ever looking at you. Hmm. Everybody as you pushed out can push those people you want to change out of your life forever. But of course, if you are changing, you're going away from polarity. You're going towards, from, to, you're going towards who you say you are. So you're going to meet different people that match who you say you are. Does that make sense? Because this is the part with us sometimes. We sit and we beat ourselves up. The encouragement today is act now. What are you going to act upon? What you say. You see, because people only ever want their situation to change, you know. You're in a situation and you're like, oh, God, I can't take this anymore. So what are you going to do? You see, if you go by way of feelings, right, you'll do something stupid. Because that feeling, that emotion that says, well, you don't want to be here anymore, well, then take care of that. Listen to what happens. Nonsense happens when you sit there and you entertain, well, maybe it'll be easier somewhere else. Maybe I should just take myself out of the equation. No, in actuality, you just want the situation that you're in to change. You don't want to stop living. You just want the situation to change. But if you allow your emotion to keep pushing you and you be ruled by your emotions, then we do silly things. I can promise you that. You know how I know? Let the doctor say, uh, I'm so sorry today to give you this, but you've got less than 48 hours. Get your life in order. What are you going to do? You're going to start freaking out. Exactly. So, what is the alternative? The alternative is to sit for a moment and assess your situation. Yes, where would you prefer to be and what would you prefer to be doing? And begin to do that. You notice you don't do it one time, it's a lifetime thing. You get up and you do the new thing every single day. So if you are busy doing the new thing, you don't have time to look back and say, am I there yet? Because you're busy, you are occupied. You're occupied with living. That's what you're doing. You're occupied with living the way you say you want to live. The world is not against you, it is your thoughts, a divided mind. That's what's against you. So when you decide to act now, after you've assessed your situation and say, okay, what action is required? Because I'm going to get up and do it again tomorrow. Hmm. So you see, this is what I'm telling you today. It looks a particular way because sometimes looks are deceiving. But if you take the time to look at yourself without judgment, that's part one. Part two, look at yourself and don't complain about, oh my God, my life was so hard. If you only knew what I came through. Mm. Is that the direction you want to be in? No. You know why? Because when you look back there and you think about all those things, whew, that's a heavy burden, isn't it? Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. What does that mean? If you say, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest, that means you have to take your attention away from the thing that is the burden and turn towards the thing that is peace. So you have to move in the direction you say you want to be in. Hmm. So that means what? You can't keep looking back there. So what are you going to do? What? You're going to act now. You can do this. Every single day, you can do this. Cyber says, for the longest time I wanted the new, but had a death grip on the old. Let it go, he says. That's the thing. Right there, that's the thing. We want change, but we forget that we are the change. Well, how are you the change? By doing the new thing. Plant new seeds, reap a new harvest. Period. Plant new seeds, reap a new harvest. That's what you do. You notice how farmers will tell you if you keep planting the same thing in the same field all the time, you're going to deplete the soil. So what does that mean? You're going to have to do something new. To do what? Preserve the longevity of the soil. Change it up a little bit. Add something back. Do something new. So if it works for dirt, it works for us too. I'm trying a new fruit. It's a dragon fruit, not the pink one. This one has yellow flesh. I looked at it and I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it. I haven't cut it open yet. I only got it yesterday. So this morning I'll be trying that new fruit. Do something new. But you get to determine what that new thing is. It's not random because there is no randomness in the world. Everything is by design, it is ordered. Hmm? Makes sense? So, this is what I'm saying to you today. Act now because there is only now. You can't act tomorrow. Tomorrow brings about its own thing. You behave tomorrow, then you're there. But what are you going to do now? What are you going to do right this instant? That's the point. Once you've looked at your life and you said, I like this, so I'll keep it. You know what? I'm not such a fan of that, so I'm going to do this instead. So that's why I'm telling you, most of the time it is fear that holds us back. But if you are the one determining the change, you know the outcome. Thus, you have nothing to be afraid of. Do not make me sing Elsa up in here. Let it go. Let it. No. Too late. You see, if your decision is to laugh a little bit more in life, my father, God, I love my dad. He is a man, I tell you. He says, you want to have a good laugh? Look in the mirror. I'm like, oh, God, daddy, get out. But he's right. He's right. You got to learn to laugh at yourself. If you can't laugh at yourself, come on. Come on. Lighten up a little bit. It is a pleasurable experience to be alive. It is. It truly, truly is. It is. So find the pleasure in life, in living. What brings you pleasure? I see Double A said to me he appreciates my appreciation of his artwork because I do. He was the very first one. He drew me. I have it posted on my community wall. He was the very first person. He messaged me and he said, hey, I did something for you. Can I send it to you? And I said, why, of course. And he sent it to me and I was moved. Do you know what it takes for somebody to sit there and think of you and recreate you on canvas? He got my gap down to the T, let me tell you. And I've always loved that. I have it as wallpaper on my phone because it means so much to me. Why does it mean so much? Because somebody took the time to do what they love to show me how they appreciated me. It really and truly, it doesn't really have anything to do with me at all. It has everything to do with him. That's what I'm telling you today. There is pleasure in life. What are you good at? I'm going to keep poking you till you do it. Do that new thing. You love doing something, get up and do it. Yeah, but it doesn't pay the bills. How do you know? Oh, because somebody said to you, well, that doesn't pay the bills. Oh, and you're going to believe them because they have the power to suck the life out of you? Oh. Oh, so that's what you've done with your power, is it? Giving it to somebody else? Get up and do the thing that you enjoy. And just do it. Why? Every cause has an effect. And you do not know how far reaching that effect is. You don't know because you cannot see how far it goes. Why? Because every cause has an effect, but every effect has a cause. And every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. You see how far it keeps going? You can't determine where it's going to end. So, how do you know based upon somebody else's opinion of what you do and who you are? We give people far too much power. Hmm? So if you love to cook, get up and do it. You got the ingredients? If you don't have the ingredients, remember the widow in the Bible. Hmm. What did she have? She had what, a quarter cup of oil? And the prophet says, well, I can get you some money, but you're going to have to fill up a lot of containers with that oil. And she looked at the oil and she looked at the prophet. She looked at the oil and she looked at the prophet and she said, this man is crazy. What do you mean I got to fill up containers with this oil? Well, if he's crazy enough to suggest it, I'll be crazy enough to do it. And she borrowed containers from neighbors. And she still had oil. She filled all that up and then she took it to the market. Cha-ching. Hmm. What does it tell you in that story? Even though it might seem far fetched, as long as you have the image in your mind, you can see, then it is possible. That's what that story is telling you. So, what are you going to do today? Well, you're going to act now. Hmm? Stop worrying about, I don't know how it's going to turn out. Yes, you do. Because if you do this, this will happen. And like I said, it's okay to be scared. It's okay. As long as you keep moving in the direction of the thing you say you're doing. Because it'll be done. Yeah, but what if nobody appreciates it? Do you appreciate it? When you cut into that loaf of bread that you just made with that butter that you just made, and it's just like, oh, mm, do you appreciate it? Then was it not appreciated? See, but we keep looking on the outside for the appreciation. If you haven't tasted the thing you made, how can you take it to somebody and say, listen, this thing tastes amazing, try it? How do you know that it tastes amazing if you haven't already partaken in it? So you must appreciate what you are first, not because society says so with their self love jargon. That's not what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you the law of correspondence. As within you, so must you be on the outside. So if you sweet and tasty on the inside, well, then everybody else will appreciate it. And if someone is jealous, well, that's just because they are too afraid to do what they love. And they're telling you that with their jealousy. Hmm. They're not showing you they're jealous because they want to hurt you or tear you down. No, that's just how you interpret it. But if you look at their jealousy when they project it towards you, you can say, that's because you're too scared to do what you love. And it's okay. You should try it sometime. You should do what you actually love. That's all I'm doing. Hmm. And they may close their mouth and turn away and go, I told you she's been sniffing that paint she's been painting with and all those canvases. But I bet you that they go and they do it. Oh yes. And they may not come back and say anything to you. Hmm, they don't have to. But never underestimate the power of a planted seed. Dandelions do this all the time. When the wind blows, they land where they may, and you will never know. But you can be guaranteed that there are dandelions. So don't grudge the change, you understand, that you can influence in the life of another. Hmm? Ah, I just love you all so much. I do. Yes, give and you shall receive, because giving and receiving is one and the same. Double A says, Angie, I'm glad you loved, but understand I'm moved by the energy I find in others. What they love, that's what moves him. He observes and he recreates what he observes. That's a beautiful gift to have the ability to observe and to capture it so that everybody else can see what you've observed. So act now. Do it today. What are you waiting for? You'll still have the opportunity to do it again tomorrow. So keep doing it and keep doing it, even though it looks like a lesson in futility, because it isn't. Not when you're doing what you love. You ever notice that? If I make a piece of salmon and my son takes a bite of it, he goes, Mom, you outdid yourself today. He goes, that is so good. And I'm like, Really? He's like, Yeah. He's like, Is there more? And I'm like, Yeah, Mommy can make you some more. But this is the point. If you do what you love, it's always going to be appreciated. It really is. So act now. Don't worry about other things and people and their opinions. Queen Marat, you enjoy the beautiful day. She says she's got to run. She's got to get to work. So what are you going to do? Right? That is the point. When you know that you are good at something, a way is always made for you to keep doing it. Now, what does the scripture say? A man's gifts make room for him and brings him before great men. That scripture just took me all the way back to the Emerald Tablets, because that's what happened to Thoth the Atlantean. His desire for knowledge was so powerful that it caused something to happen. Oh, yes. And he was brought before greatness just because he did what he always loved doing, learning. That's what he loved doing, learning. And so he did. And then here we are. Hmm? Again, even though you may not see, it does not mean that nothing is happening. And I'm sure bamboo just flashed into many people's minds. If you don't know the story of bamboo, it is written there somewhere in my community page. But the short end of it is bamboo takes 4 years before it breaks the surface. 4 years before it breaks the surface. So that means somebody had to keep watering and fertilizing that soil. hmm So along the way, things can cause us to become discouraged. Of course, because we think it's not happening fast enough. But you do not allow discouragement to make you act. Observe the discouragement and put it in its place. Oh, I see what that is. Everything takes time, doesn't it? Hmm. Bamboo takes 4 years. This is not going to take as long as bamboo, but it still takes time. And you will banish discouragement. You will. Just do the new thing. Now. Just act on it now. You polarize yourself in the direction that you want to go in and start walking. I'm walking. Yes, indeed. And I'm talking about you and me. Yeah. That you just, every time you take a step. That's it. Iapo says, do what you love and someone will always appreciate it, even if no one likes it but me. I'm someone. Ah, so yes, someone will always appreciate what I love. Ah, Anot. Anot says she didn't pursue her dream job of helping people. Yet here she is. She helps me all the time. So you may not have pursued your dream job, but that didn't mean you stopped helping people, Anot, because it was inevitable for you to help people. It's just who you are, and you are always going to find a way of doing it. So you see, it just has a way of happening because it cannot be hidden, that thing that you love doing. So act on it. Act on it. Well, Daddy always says, well, why put off for tomorrow what you can do for today? Just do it now. And you know what? Funny thing is, he's usually right 99% of the time. Okay, fine, 100. Because every time, if I go to procrastinate, I hear my father say, hmm, just do it, okay? Because then you don't have to do it tomorrow. And I do it. And then I don't have to do it tomorrow. That thing I want to procrastinate doing. I learned a lot from Daddy. Mm. Cool, double A. He's probably got to get back to work. He was probably taking his break because he's on UK time. Oh, that reminds me. It's. See, when I tell you, right, that we may not see how far reaching things are, we don't always see, but just know that it is. I don't know how many people from the UK are in this chat, but I know there are many. Just like there are many Bajans in this space as well. I had no idea, but I just got up and did it. And now we're at 1,600 subscribers. Oh, somebody dropped some confetti. Yeah. Yeah, that's, listen, I'm not telling you something that I do not get up and do every day. The same way I talk to you is the same way I speak to myself in the mirror. Same way every time. Yeah, he's 6 hours ahead. But mentally, we're on the same time. You are right, double A. Every day I get up, you can be guaranteed that I've already said this to myself. What you gonna do today, Angela? Mm-hmm. What you gonna do? You gonna sit there? You gonna let that person get you down? Really? All right. Because they have to live your life, do they? Aw. But then they're gonna have their hands full because they'll be living their life and yours? They don't have the capacity for that, so you may as well just live your own life. See? So what are you gonna do? Are you going to get up and live? Listen, the law is always on. So if you sit and complain, you will be guaranteed more things to complain about. But if you get up and live life what? Abundantly, you'll have more life to live abundantly. Sherelle just dropped us some confetti, and David dropped me some pigeon flags. Hey, David. Listen, you got this in the bag. It doesn't matter what the situation is. You want better grades? Here, let me remind you of mirror neurons. Let me remind you of those. You know, when somebody says, there's that cartoon Garfield when he puts the book on his head and he goes, yeah, I'm learning by osmosis. Mirror neurons kind of sort of do that. Mm, mirror neurons kind of sort of do that. That's why you can watch somebody do something. Eh? You can watch somebody do something, and then you can do it. You'll practice, but you'll be able to do it as well. Why? Because mirror neurons do exactly what they're called. When you look in the mirror, you are doing two things. You are doing something and you're watching yourself do something. Two things. So the mirror neurons, they begin to play it back for you so you can do it again. The same thing. Why don't you take advantage of that? Right, because we didn't know. Well, we do know. It's called correspondence, as within, so without. But science had to come along and say, oh, look, we can do this. So, how are you going to put your mirror neurons to work for you? What's that thing you love doing? You love cooking? Get recipes. Start looking at recipes. Because then you say, oh, I can make that. Or if you're like Brie, she sees something and she's like, oh, well, I can make that. I can modify that. Oh, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold that thought. That ding of the ball is to commemorate when someone drops a super chat. Wow! Thank you, Double A, for your generosity today. It is much appreciated, darling. That's what that we ding the bowl when that happens. So, again, if you're like Bree and you see something, you're like, oh, I can modify that and do this with it. If you're like my mother, mm, for those of us who are going to Barbados in September 2024, I will see if I can convince my mother. I will twist her rubber arm and see if she can be a part of that chef's kitchen. You've never eaten food until you tried my mother's cooking. I'm just going to say that, okay? Because my mother loves to cook. And not just that she loves to cook, it's like she's been touched by God to cook. That's what it is. She's absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, if you weren't going to go, now perhaps you'll be intrigued to come along to Barbados in September 2024. But that's my point to you. Those mirror neurons, right? You begin to see the thing you love doing. Now your mirror neurons begin to prime you so you will go out and do it. It's like digestion starts in the mouth. You look at that dish, salivary amylase breaks down starch. That's the first thing that starts in your mouth, salivary amylase. You are primed by way of those mirror neurons to act as within, so without. hmm So, you see, it is a beautiful thing. It is a very beautiful thing. Iapo, the biggest lesson I've learned in life, if something must be done, You may do it now or later, but you will do it, like it or not. And the longer you put it off, the harder it is to do on the back end. Ah, yes, Confucius, do things when they're small. Yeah, do things when they're little. Because when you wait for them to become this massive thing, now it overwhelms you. And then you're like, ugh, I can't. Do it when it is small. Yes? It is a most beautiful thing. It is a most beautiful thing. So today, let me just make sure that I didn't miss any. Cyber says idle hands are the devil's workshop. Yeah, I've heard that, right? Why? Because everything moves. So you're either doing the thing or you're being given something to do because you can't stand still, right? That is law of vibration. Eapple says he's exactly that way with music. Some may like it, some may not, but I love it. And that's the point of composing it. But of course, well, look at Mozart. Wasn't he deaf? Mm. He couldn't hear his music, but he felt it. And he saw how other people felt because of his music. Hmm. Intriguing, you know? So I'll leave you with that this morning. Mm-hmm. What you gonna do? I wanted to sing it, but I won't. I won't sing it. But you get the point, right? You have everything to gain. Oh, Angela, you just make it sound so easy. You make it sound so easy that even a child can do it. Uh, well, a little child shall lead them. Hmm? I believe the children are our future. Well, that's because they are. If they can do it, so can you. And they teach you how to do it. Why do you think everybody's coming for them? Because they know what to do and how to get it done. Oh, oh, snap. That's what I'm telling you today. You make it seem so easy, Angela. It is. Once you take the first step, it is. And what is the first step? Knowing what you want. Knowing what you want to create is the first step because the universe is a mental creation. Oh, Iapo, thank you. It was Beethoven, not Mozart. Beethoven. I sit corrected. Thank you, Iapo. Ruby says she emotionally appreciates these words. My spirit is truly uplifted after a heavy few weeks. Well, after that rain, do you see how lush and green everything is? So, was the rain bad, or did it serve a purpose? Ruby, right? That's why I say if you're going to look back, don't look back at how hard it was. Look back at what you learned how to do and begin to do those things now. Because you learned how to do things. You learned how to do things. Sure, we may call them coping mechanisms, but it is a matter of perspective. What you used to cope back then is the same thing you can use now to propel yourself forward. Why? Because it is still a skill. It is only a matter of perspective that makes the skill either helpful or harmful. But you'll have to investigate that for yourself when you do it. Now you hear what I'm saying to you. Anywho, countdown initiated. Hmm. Twitter. Ah, me I see you. Tiffany, Javion, Jeff, darling, Love Troll, Roo Roo. And I know the replay gang on Twitter will be Cuddles and Lilith and that honest guy. They'll be there for the replay. Thank you all for being here, Twitter. And you know I will see you. Oh, how can I forget? Today at 3 p.m. Eastern, what are we talking about? Addictions. Whether it be shopping or whatever, we're going to talk about it. Because if you understand it by way of law, you'll be able to bust wide through it and use all the tools at your disposal. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today on YouTube. That's what we're doing. Right? If you want to message me, my link tree is there with a little envelope or any social media platform that I'm on. Drop me a DM. If you like what we do here on the channel and you say, well, Angela, I can spend 99 cents a month. I can do that. You can join the YouTube membership and do that. Whatever. And we didn't get to 1,600 subscribers by just sitting on our laurels. Nah, you guys were out here in these streets sharing. Mm-hmm. That's what you were doing. I was looking at the algorithm and the analytics, and it said, because it showed me how much percentage people would search or suggested. 9% is suggested. What does that tell me? It says the more you share these videos or the more you comment, well, they'll be suggested to other people more and more. And then that means more hearts and more minds that are changed on a daily basis, more pain eased on a daily basis, more self actualization on a daily basis. Because that's the point. That's why we do what we do, right? We share it. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. And that's what we're bringing about, that change. We're doing it every day. So that's what happens when you share and you like and you recommend this video to somebody else. That's what you're doing. See? Teamwork. Yes. Um, of course, Ruby, there is a purpose. Oh, Queen Red Pill says that Mozart did go deaf at age 35. Well, look at that. Oh, Cyber, this question is beautiful. I'm glad you're still here. Let's answer this question. But why would God strip away that ability to hear from the ones he gave the gift of making music to? Maybe they dwelled in the fear of no longer being able to do it? Um, no, let's touch on that. So, whose mother had syphilis? I think that was Beethoven because uh he was born deaf. Mozart went deaf. So there was probably something he was doing. See, sometimes we quick to say, "Oh God, why did you do it to me?" Cause and effect. Something along the line that perhaps he was doing, right, caused his deafness. Well, don't let's get started on the Tuskegee Airmen project. Untreated syphilis and the effects it would have on the body. So who knows why he went deaf, right? But it's just like Samson, remember? After his eyes were gouged out, yeah? Did he need to see or did he need to remember? He needed to remember that he was strong. That's what he needed. So even though Mozart could no longer hear the notes from the piano, he could still feel. Dun, 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 right? He could still feel. That better be Mozart and not Beethoven, y'all. Because you get all these composers and you're like, well, we know Frederick Chopin is the Wedding March. That much I can guarantee you, right? So it's not that you require the ear when Neville Goddard tells you to deny your senses. He's telling you, yeah, you have your senses, but what do you know? Senses interpret incoming information. But what do you know? What you know is written in your heart. That's where you look to. Yeah. Mm, look at that, eh? You learn something new every day. Hmm. See? I just love you guys. Cyber, that was tremendous. I love that question because, see, it really truly is perspective. This is why some people can think, the universe is against me, or the universe always has my back. Perspective. The universe can only be for you, never against you, because the law, the law has one focus: creation. So everything is always growing and everything is always working itself out. Because if it was going against you, it would be divided in its job. And you all know what happens with a divided mind. So the universe, that's what you want to call it, only does one thing, and that is unconditional love and having your back. That's what it does. It keeps the order. So if it maintains order everywhere, it maintains order with you. So if it's maintaining order with you, now you get to ask the question, which part of the order is it maintaining in my life? Because you're always in alignment with law, whether consciously or unconsciously, meaning whether you know you are or you're not. So if you're doing something good, bad, or indifferent, the law is always working. So if you're doing something good, yay, the world is working out for me. If you're doing something bad, oh my God, the world is against me. See, it's just that tells you what? You're the one who gets to decide what you'll be doing. Is it of a benefit to you or is it harmful to you? Because so long as you're doing it, it is governed by law. So choose wisely. Deuteronomy 28, I put before you life and death. Choose life. It gives you the choice, but it tells you what to choose. Because when you choose life, well, then everything works in your favor. You choose death, well, everything works in your favor there too, because it is law. So the outcome that you want, you've got to choose that. Hmm? Anywho, I told you guys that we were gonna go, and I'm still here yakety yakking. Anywho, I trust today made sense. And again, you can always find me. You know where to just slide into my DMs, right? 5, 4, 3, Twitter. I love you. I'll see you soon. 2, Twitter is closed. Fan base. I see y'all's today. Matthias, KZ, Flo Smiles, Miss McQueen, Yolanda, Zola. I didn't say Summer Rose. I didn't get to say that today. And hey, where's Smoking? Where's he today? That's okay. I'll message him. Fan base, thank you for the love. And I will see you soon. 3 p.m. Eastern. Love you. Fan base is closed. YouTube and Facebook. Oh, Apple. He says, well, that has to be the worst. A visual artist who loses their sight, a musician who loses their hearing, a mathematician who became demented. It does make me wonder. Funny, Apple. That thought did cross my mind last night as I looked in the mirror. And I said to myself, girl, you better not entertain foolishness. We do not know what in their lives created that. Hey, Zola, we don't know what created that. We don't know what the cause was. You got to remember back in the day, We used to have lead in gasoline, lead in little kids' toys. Uh, so you see, cause and effect. Makes sense? We don't know. But if we entertain the thought of, but what if, but what if I look? Oh, you see now what you've done for yourself? You've created a seed of fear. Don't don't do madness. Come now. Carry on as you are. Live and do and be. Don't give credence to those kinds of thoughts. But what if? If you're going to use your mind to ask the question, what if? You better be asking, what if I had the ability to overcome that? What if I could do this? What if I could do that? Uh, that's the kind of question you want to ask. As opposed to, but what if? Mm-hmm. Cyber says his grandmother is currently declining from dementia. It makes me wonder what's going on from an I am standpoint. Perhaps a child is getting consciousness at the same rate she's losing hers? I don't know. But as I say, we do not know the cause. We do not know the cause. At least not from that age. We don't know the cause, right? So you can only speculate. Amen, Iapo. Amen. Zero fears about such fates. Well, it's not that they're allowed. You're right. It's law, cause and effect, without judgment, but it is causation. It is causation. Hmm? It's causation. Yeah, lead pipes, David. Yeah, we don't know the long-term effects of the stuff that's going on right now. But that's why if you go into your mind, your consciousness, and you determine, just like Abdullah was like, see, that's your problem. You're so scared to eat. Right? Good morning, Andrea. I see you. See, that's the problem. This is what Abdullah was telling Neville. Oh, you're so scared to eat. That's why you're sick all the time. Right? You're scared to do this, you're scared to do that. Nah, you got to change that perspective. Right? That's the beauty of what we have here. We have this consciousness that we can use. It's who we are. The awareness of being you, the awareness that you are somewhere, the awareness. Then use what you have and don't allow yourself to be taken in by what's going on around you to the extent that it scares you. Because remember the projection, right? The projection. Ah, did you get? Let me read this to you. Iapo says, I know I mention it often, but I often think on the woman who had a split personality. One personality had diabetes and the other didn't. Now, here's the question. Are they not the same physical body? Those personalities? So just as he says the power of thought. So here she is With one personality, same body, she has diabetes. So the body, based upon that thought, has to respond. Correspondence as within, so without. But the other personality does not have it. So then the same body, under the governance of a different thought, has to respond differently. Now, if that does not move you into examining your own thoughts, because think about it. How can one personality, they're in the same body. So that personality creates what? A physiological chemical response in her body. So what do you think your thought is doing to your body? Oh, we already have this placebo, nocebo. You do a fake operation on someone and they're cured, or you give them sugar pills and they're cured because they believe they had a thought. But nocebo, you tell somebody bad news and they believe the bad news, and thus, oh, dear God, it happens. What's the difference? The perception, their thought, what they perceived to be true. So, whatever it is that you believe to be true has to show you that it is true so that you know it's true. That's how we live. That's what we live from. That's why the habit that is so detrimental to you, because you know it now, the body has to respond in kind. Oh, Iyapo, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I do suppose there was gravy in the bowl. I do suppose there was some gravy left in the bowl. But think about that for a moment, right? The thoughts created her unwell condition, and her thoughts also created her wellness. Yapo also says, I found that a powerful example of the power of what we think. Exactly. It's, listen, again, if that story does not inspire you to dig a little deeper inside yourself, to question what it is you're thinking, or question what you know, what will? Like, that's wow. Well, Cyber, her dwelling place, one had diabetes and one did not. That was her dwelling place, based on where she switched between. That's her dwelling place, well and unwell. So I wonder, because I'm thinking about this now too. I wonder which one she would have chosen to stay with permanently if she wanted to. Really and truly, just they're just two different ways of thinking and two different ways of behaving, but we say split personality when they're just different behaviors. Yes, Queen Red Pill, thoughts are truly things. They are. That's like, now I gotta do something about that. About that story. Yes, it is, Cyber. It is the effect. It's the effect, Cyber. And Queen Red Pill, yes, Alan Watts, as a man thinketh, therefore he is. That's why you are always charged with know thyself. Because what you know yourself to be is what you'll do, because that's what you're thinking. And then that's what you become. I think that has affected me in a way today that um it just did. Iapo. Thank you for that. I'm gonna find that story, and yeah, the law is so prevalent in it. It's amazing. I keep telling you, the law is everywhere. Everything is governed by way of law, and it's right there in that story. And now the rest of the story. It's in there in that story. Brilliant. So if it is so evident there, how do you change you? Ah, the thought. Ah, the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. It's a mental creation. And because it is a mental creation, it's only going to start there and end there. It will always come back and it will always begin with the mind. Because there is only the mind. I'm not talking about your brain. Your brain is an organ. Your mind is your awareness of yourself, your consciousness. You are aware of something. That's what that is. That's what that means. You guys are awesome. Thank you for spending your time with me this morning. And again, double A, thank you for your generosity. It is appreciated. It truly is. And so I leave you with that. I'm going to rest up a little bit and get ready for 3 p.m. Eastern. And I look forward to seeing you there. Or you guys can be part of the replay gang too. Right? But I look forward to it either way. Because I think um, the more knowledge that we have and we apply the knowledge, we'll shock ourselves with that change. Well, as Andrea just asked the question, I wonder whenever she got blood work done, did it reflect her current state? But of course, according to the story, that's how they knew that one of those personalities or one of those ways of thinking was diabetic and the other was not. You have a great day too, Cyber. Thank you for being here. Yeah, but does that make sense? It would have to. The blood work would have to correspond. Hmm. Law of correspondence with that particular mindset. And it is. And you know why, though, Cyber? Those mirror neurons, the mirror neurons. I, yes, I would speculate that that's why. Because it's like you're always watching yourself. And so, however you are predominantly, that's what you're going to show or manifest on the outside. But it's so even hard. It's so hard to even say that word because it's been tainted so much. Manifest. You have to show the evidence of what's on the inside. You have to correspond. And so that's why it has to be instantaneous. But I'm not a scientist. I don't have equipment to measure this and measure that and test this and test that. All I know is the law. And it says, as within, so without, as above, so below. And that's what it says. So if it says that, well, then it has to be instantaneous. Whatever's going on the inside, you have to be able to see it on the outside. You have to register it. Touch that hot burner. Well, don't, right? Don't. But you get what I'm saying? It has to register inside. And then you're like, ow. Or will you just look at it red hot and go, you know what? That's going to hurt. So I want to just not touch that because you have discernment. You learned how to discern. How so? Just like when you're driving, that red sign. We know what we discerned now because we learned red, yellow, green, right? So it's all a matter of that discernment, right? So, anywho, I just read Zola's message. Yes, I do enjoy Double A's photo. I'm like, can I put that on a shirt or like a mug or something? Because maybe I'll just go and get it printed and put it up. That may seem so vain, but it really isn't. My grandfather had a picture of himself. As soon as you walked through the door and you looked up, you'd see his picture. A most handsome man he was. So why can't I put my own picture up? I'm not putting my picture up to remind myself of what I look like. I'm putting it up because I appreciate it. Yeah, maybe that is exactly what I'll do. Yeah, because it is a beautiful picture. It came from somewhere so beautiful. So, yeah, Zola, I love that picture too. I really do. So, anywho, you're welcome, Sherelle. Eapple. Eapple says, I know you're trying to get out of here. Well, listen, you know I love interacting with all of you. Uh, It's all good. It really is all good. I love it. I really do. I'm like a kitten in the sun. That's what it's like. I truly, truly love it. I just do. Well, yeah. I'm not in a hurry to go. I'm not in a hurry to go either, but I know. I totally know. And yeah, Zola, that's right. You know what? You're right. It's not vain. It's my house. It's my house. So I'll put it up because I like it. And it's a great conversation starter. Oh, Lord, that means I'm going to have to invite people over. Come on, Zola, stop. No, no. You got to know that about me. I'm a homebody. I don't really, unless I must, you know, unless I must. I don't leave unless I must, or I don't invite people over unless I must. Because I like my quiet. Oh, Apple, you mean you had to catch the replay? It was so fun, though, with Lance yesterday. Which part in the movie, Zola? Which part? Because I don't think I've seen that movie in its entirety. White Chicks, I haven't seen it in its entirety at all, but I've seen bits and pieces of it. Yeah, Apple, you're going to have to catch the replay for that because it was so fun. It really, really was. Hmm. And the questions are just so cool. What, putting up that photo is a good idea, Queen Red Pill? Is that what you mean? Yeah, because yeah, like it's on my phone, so because I always see it, and every time I see it, I smile. I'm like, that's me, right? So it's nice. It's nice. Like seriously, I was so moved by that. Like, yeah, that's like somebody writing a song about you. Like uh, it just really does something. It, yeah, yeah. It's causation, right? Every cause has an effect. Every effect its cause, and it's far-reaching, so you just never know. But yeah, Iapo, it really is awesome working with Lance. Like, I think I was still in my second or third year of school, of college, when I met Lance. And I had just started learning about the law there, right? Because it was in my textbooks. And I was like, what? Like, what? What are you saying? And so that's why, yeah, I was learning about the law even then in school, and I didn't really know it. I didn't know that's what I was learning. And that's when I met Lance. I don't know how that interaction even began. I don't remember how. I just remember um, having a conversation with him online. Like he interviewed me, he asked me questions and things, and I remember that. But I don't remember how it was initiated. I really don't. Mm. And so it says when he was trying to impress the girl and took the man's car and okay, and used his home. Oh, there was a picture of another man as soon as they walked into the door. That's right. That's right. See? Thank you for reminding me of that. It's been done. You put your own picture up. This is mine. Yeah, it's a good thing. I think I will do it, actually. I will do it. I'll go to a print shop, print it and frame it and put it up. Yeah. Aw. Parting really is such sweet sorrow. I do love you all. And hopefully, I'll see you today, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, to catch that habit situation, that, addiction. Yeah. I hope my bestie shows up for that. She has great insight. She does. You know, she really truly has phenomenal insight when it comes to those kinds of things and great suggestions. So I will see you soon. Yay. Alrighty, y'alls. Peace.